Welcome back to the channel, my YouTube family, my Starfield explorers. How are you doing today? I hope you're all well. So, I had an idea for a video, something a little bit different to what I normally put out on the channel. And that is just to help people that are coming into Starfield either for the first time or are early in the game. And so what I intend to do today, and it might take a couple of videos, might get done in one, I'm not sure, is to start a new playthrough on Starfield and apply everything I've learned in the first 40 hours of playing the game. So we'll put all those tips and tricks that I've put out in the channel, we'll put them into the gameplay, and there's tips that I've picked up from other people, from other content creators, from other players, messages that I've got about various things in the game that I haven't shared yet. So I'm going to try and put that all into one playthrough, and we're going to get to a point, and there's very specific things that I want to get in the game, but we're going to get to a point where our character is overpowered early, and we're going to see how long that takes and what level we get to when we get to that point. So I'm really looking forward to getting this done and helping everybody in the community so that you can have your own character strong at the start of the game. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's do it! So before we do get started today, I'm going to warn you up front, we're going to do this in the early game. So if you haven't played the game yet and you don't want to spoil it for you, you might want to just avoid this. I'm not sure if we're going to just go in and do full gameplay and show you the bits we want, or whether I'll edit it together and just show you the key moments. Either way, there will be early game footage, and so I just wanted to warn you about that up front if you don't want to see any of that. I know a lot of people were avoiding watching Starfield for that very reason. They want to have their own gaming experience, and certainly I was one of those. I didn't watch I've watched very little of the game before I played it. So we played 40 hours on my other account. I've learned lots of stuff. We're going to put all that to apply that to this playthrough and just see where we get to. So lots of tips on the channel. If you want to learn more about some of the tips I give you, then consider subscribing to the channel and putting on the notification bell. We've got lots and lots of different tips and tricks for Starfield, and we'll continue to roll those out as long as I find them. So let's get into our new playthrough and let's just see what happens. So here we are in the mines very early on in the game, and we'll get into the first one of our tips for the day very early on, something you can use ongoing throughout the game, but if you don't know about this, it might make life a little bit more difficult. Okay, so here's our first tip of the day, and that relates to the cutter. So you can see with the cutter, you can see there's like a triangular shape. And one of the easiest ways to get this to work real quickly is just to hold down, for me on console, is the left trigger, and you'll see, you watch those little white lines move into the center like that, and it creates the shape in the middle, and this will make mining so much easier. So just keep your finger down on the left trigger and you see how quickly that actually mines. Now, to give you a comparison, if I tried to do it the other way without holding the left trigger down, look at this, it takes a lot longer. So first thing to do, aim it at whatever you're going to extract, hold your left trigger down until that shape's complete, hit the button again,
get back up here,
and that will just save you so much time when you're mining. Now, if you want to put the cutter away or any of your weapons, just for me on the console, it's press and hold the X button, and then you can put it away. Okay, so this is where we learn how to use our flashlight. Now, there you go, hold LB to turn on the flashlight. I think it's F on PC. Now, one thing they don't tell you with this flashlight tutorial is that you've got to have a helmet on for the flashlight to work. So if you haven't got a helmet on and you're trying to do this, so you see press and hold to switch it on and off, you won't get this to work. The other thing that might be a problem is the LB button for me, or the F button on PC, is also the scanner button. So make sure you're pressing and holding that button to get it to work. I know a lot of people are having problems with this. If you want to bring your cut up, basically we just aim our left trigger. If you want to get a little bit more resources, and I would encourage you to be doing that early in the game, is getting the resources. Okay, so here we come to the character creation. So take your time with this. I can't state that enough. Take your time, go through, do this, read everything you need to read and get the right setup. Now I'm going to give you a couple of guides on this as we go through, but this is one of the most important things that you're going to do in the game, and it will set you up to see how powerful you are as we move forward. So I'm not going to spend too much time with how my character looks. Now you can move this around. If you need to get a side view, say something like you're here. But once you're happy with this, this is the important part. This is the very important part. Now, skills that I suggest you get early in the game, I'm going to show you in a second. But what my objective here is to try and get as many of those skills that I'm going to need early in the game with my choice of character type, character operator, however you want to kind of describe this, but just take your time at this point. So let's move on to the recommended skills at the very start of the game that you might want to consider. So here are some skills that I have found useful early in the playthrough, and again, these suggestions are very much going to depend on your own personal play style. So pick what you like, but here's at least a starting point for you. So fitness is a good one, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about these today because I'm going to do a separate video on this. That just means you can run longer. Stealth, if you want to do a stealthy playthrough, there is a very good character model that fits in with that, and we'll highlight in a minute. Certainly weightlifting. Encumbrance is a big issue, especially early. So weightlifting is, for me, a crutch perk. If you are not totally confident and you want to have a little bit more health, then wellness is one that you might consider. Commerce, basically what this one does is it means that you'll sell your items for higher amounts of money and you'll buy for cheaper. So that's certainly worth doing early if you want to get credits. Given what I'm about to show you probably in episode 2, you might or might not need that. Persuasion, certainly you're going to need that in the early game because you're going to need people. You're going to have to persuade people to do things, and it saves you getting combat a lot. So if you don't want to get into combat, that is one I'd suggest. Theft, depending if you're going to run a stealth playthrough, definitely have theft. The next one, very dependent on what your play style is, and if you're in a combat play style. So any one of these, whether you want to go shotguns, pistols, lasers, dueling, I've gone with ballistics just to give me more damage from my weapons overall. And that's just the way I play the game. So take some time to decipher what you want to do here. And then science, research pro methods I suggest is a good one because if you want to upgrade your gear, then research is an absolute must. Surveying, if you want to get your scanner to have a longer distance, is worth looking at. Definitely boost pack training is a key one. And then finally security, which is your lock picking. So those are the skills that I think early you should be looking at for your build, and try and marry that in when you're doing your character makeup. Try and marry that in and try and get as many of these skills as you can, because when you pick your character type, then you're going to get some of these for free. This is where I suggest you go through and just be very, very careful. Based on kind of what my suggestions are for early perks, you don't have to follow that, but this is what I'm trying to do, is match up those perks I've just suggested with a character here that matches, at least gives me at least one or two of those skills up front, and I'll explain why in a bit. So we got secure. So the Beast Hunter has fitness and ballistics. That's not bad. We get ballistics for free. We get fitness, which is, yeah, not bad. That has the lockpicks in security. This is the one that I've got on my other playthrough, Bounty Hunter. This not only gives you boost pack training, but it gives you piloting and targeting control. That one's quite a strong one. Cyber Runner, you get stealth security, so you can sneak around. You can pick locks, and you can also, pickpocket people with theft. So that's quite an interesting one if you want a stealth character. This one is very, very strong. Diplomat. Persuasion, you're going to need that early in the game. Commerce is about getting costing you less to buy stuff. And then wellness is basically health. So that's pretty strong. That's pretty good. Persuasion and security and research. You're going to need research at some point. So that might be one that I consider. Soldier is quite attractive too. I get the ballistics, I get fitness, and I get boost pack. So I think what I'm going to go with is... Where is it? I'm going to go with this one because it gives me persuasion, security, and research. And then we as we earn points, we can put weightlifting into it as well. But this means I can lockpick. It means I can convince people early in the game, and it gets my research tree up and running. So we're going to pick this one for me. And traits. Again, take your time with traits. I'm actually going to pick this one because I do use companions. So 1, 2, 3 is what I'm picking. Pick what you like. Get the one that kind of speaks to you. And once you're ready, we'll finish up and we'll get into the game. Okay, so what I suggest, once you get to this point, you can go first person, you go third person, whatever you like. Loot absolutely everything you can get your hands on in here. The reason I say to pick up everything in here is because you can sell it straight out of the bat and you're going to have money.
Need some coffee or something?
You're also going to have a ton of resources. Okay, so when we first come out here, we're waiting for Barrett. Run across here.
Let's chat later.
All the way across here. Pick up this pistol and the ammo. Go into your inventory. Go to weapons and favorite this. Right there. And now you've got your weapon equipped. There we go. It's equipped. We have ammo for it. Very important. We're going to need that in a sec. Okay, so we have a ship coming in. We've got our pistol armed. So select it. And over here, they're going to land right here. So be ready for them. Wait here. Okay. Just going to blast them when that door opens. There you go. Alright. Doing pretty well so far. Who's left? 2 left. Try and aim for their heads. And then now we're going to pick up all their crap. They only got rescue axes. Okay, so my health is low. I picked up a med kit, so I'm good. I'm going to be very aggressive. Credits 6.6 in the maelstrom. So, okay, as soon as we pick that up, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to go to the maelstrom and we're going to equip it. There. Okay. Now, something I want to show you. So he has ammunition here. Pick that up. But as soon as you pick up keep an eye on the bottom left, the ammo can. As soon as you pick up the same weapon, you actually get the ammunition in that weapon to pick up. So now what you want to go do is just go through and loot all these guys. Take everything they've got, and you can look at my ammunition count is going up and up and up. Loot your even the guys that got killed. So now we have to go back and do the dialect with Barrett, and then we'll get onto the ship. Okay, we're going through the whole dialect. We have our first ship. Come on, Vasco, let's do it, buddy. Again, medkit right here when you're getting onto the ship. Don't miss it. Board. You don't even have to board the ship to fast travel here, but so you're going to find a number of Barrett's logs around here. There's one here.
You know the drill, Vasco. Protocol Indigo means no deviations, no distractions, no dalliances, and shortly, well, hey,
There's one right there, and then the third one is right in there. So you can listen to them at any point. Is go to your cargo hold as soon as you can. And what we want to do, we're going to use, I use the LB button to switch between Frontier and my own inventory. I would suggest that any resources you've picked up, you just dump in here. All this other stuff we're going to sell, so we don't want to get rid of that quite yet. And a lot of this stuff we're going to sell, but just the resources. Okay. And what I suggest you then do, and we'll do this probably at the lodge as well, but come into here, into the research lab, and have a look at these projects and start tracking them. You'll see down the bottom there, it says track project. Start tracking them. Every single one of them that you have access to, start tracking them. Now you see that one has a yellow kind of yellow bars, the Old Earth cuisine. What that's saying is I've already got resources to put in there. So I've got some bread, so I'm just going to hit the button. I'm going to select that and put that in, and already we're starting on our journey with the research lab. But just go through all these ones that are available, even the ones that are not available, and just track them. Track every single one of them. Track all of this, and we're done. Okay. Once you've done all that and you're happy, one of the other things that I should tell you about is the fact you see my health's a little bit low. Sleep for 1 hour, like that. Not only do you get your health back, but you actually get a boost. You get an XP boost. See there it says, well rested, 10% XP gained. So get into the habit of doing that, and you'll get extra XP, and very important at the start of the game. So we're going to take off, and then we're going to go straight to our target. But essentially, once you do this once, you'll be able to avoid doing any of this kind of taking off, landing, all that kind of stuff. So now we're going to head into space, and I'll show you some of the fine adjustments you can make to your spacecraft that'll make a huge difference when you're flying. Show you what this is all about. So if I press on left and right, you can see down on that left hand bottom corner, I'm switching between shields and engine and everything. Now, okay, so if you want to get more engine power, you can take it at another thing. So pressing down for me, and then I can press up and I'll add it to the engine, so I'll get more power in my engine. So to speed up, I just press forward on my LS button, my left stick, and to slow down, I pull back. Pretty easy. If I want a boost, I press down, and that boosts until the boost's finished. Pretty simple stuff. You could also allocate points to the grav drive. If you want to jump quicker, you can pull points out of one and put in the other jump, and then put them back where they were. Okay, so we just looted our first ship. What I suggest you do with a lot of this kind of stuff when you're looting is just power down your engine. You're going to find it's going to make life a lot easier to loot stuff. because you got a little bit more fine control about your engines. So we're about to land on our first planet, and I'm going to let that footage run quite a bit because there's so many tips in this part of the video that I don't want you to miss anything as we're working our way through this little base that we come to, and then we'll make our way to New Atlantis and finish off for the day. Okay, so we got a new planet to play around with, and this is where we learn about the scanner. So there we go. So the important thing to understand about the scanner is that you might have to scan more than one thing. So therefore, look, we're going to scan this little bug here. So 13% scanned. So when you're scanning planets, make sure that you're scanning a number of things until it goes green. So I'm going to scan this planet here, because I didn't understand that when I first picked up the scanner. Took me a while to figure out. Also, the scanner is going to show you the path you should be going. You might or might know that, not know that. One of the suggestions I make is get used to having the scanner out and active. Make sure you're scanning that. Press left trigger, let the shape come through. Okay, resources. So we're looking for resources here. We're looking just to get 100% completion on everything, so you can see there's a fair bit out there. If you want to run around, there looks like some very unfriendly stuff. Just know that if you have to kill something, you have to get out of the scanner, equip your gun, and kill them. You can try with the cutter, but the cutter might not do what you need it to.
Alien creatures are often unpredictable.
So, for me to kill that, actually we have to get out of this. Do that. Not hard to do. And then what I suggest once you've done that is just scan it. Okay. So we're going to go around and just have a good wee look. Now, the scanner for me is one of the most underrated pieces of equipment that you're going to have in your arsenal, because it does a whole lot of things that you might not be aware of. I've already spoke about the fact that you should and do use it for looting. It's great at identifying loot that you might miss. It's great at identifying all kinds of stuff. Now, just a quick tip here. You can actually skip this whole area here by jumping off this point here, jumping onto the roof, and it'll trigger the boss fight on the top of this roof. So if you're not interested in, or if you're doing a speed run, you just jump onto that roof, and it'll shortcut the quest. Again, come through, loot everything you want. I'm not going to do it in this playthrough because I've done it before, obviously, but loot everything you can, because you will want to sell that later and get a bunch of credits by doing that. Certainly take the med pack that's available here. Sealant containers. So you can see straight away, if I do that, half that stuff you can't really see because it's dark. Now, obviously we could put my flashlight on and we see them, but still you might miss it. The scanner is much better option, or the scanner and the flashlight, whatever you prefer. Up to you, but certainly always have the scanner right when you're looting. The only downsides to that is if you got to open the door, you got to get out of the scanner and then you got to switch it back on. Now, one little tip I want to give you here is the fact of, well, I want to show you for a second. So, we have a maelstrom at the moment. You can see it's giving you 4 physical damage. The modified maelstrom though, you'll see here, look at the, pay attention to the accuracy. Because it's got a long barrel on, it's got better accuracy. So, always be looking for the better version of the gun, and you should be picking up all of these weapons as you go for now, because we're going to sell a bunch of those now. So what I suggest you get in the habit of doing early is sharing your gear. And again, it works the same as the cargo hold. Make sure you're on your own inventory, and just give your companion your traded gear, the gear that you're carrying. You get it back off them later, and that's one thing you need to remember to do, is get it back off them later. Otherwise, you have to go back and try and grab it from them, which you can do, but it's a pain in the butt, quite frankly. So yeah, before you dismiss a character, clear their inventory out. I'm going to favourite this so I know where it is. Put it there, and we're good to go. Okay, cool. And again, scan everything. Make sure you're not missing anything. Take your time. I can't stress that enough. Take your time when you're looking for this stuff. There's no rush. It's a single player game. There is absolutely no rush to doing anything in this game. Fridges are good. Oh, what the heck is that? Now those suckers, all I suggest is you just melee them instead of wasting bullets. Bullets are an issue early in the game, and we're going to show you how to get past that fairly shortly. See, came out of that thing. But yeah, melee those little suckers instead of shooting them. Coffee mug, I don't think so. When you're ready, up we go. You can see we've only got 40 plus in the clip and 127 bullets, so we haven't got a lot of bullets to play with. So very early, melee the little suckers. Don't waste your bullets. Once we get to the lodge, that is not going to become a problem, because I'm going to show you how we can get a ton of ammunition. Credits. Make sure you're picking up these digipics. Very, very important that we're picking up the digipics. And we'll talk about that in a bit, but we need to grab that, as many of those as possible early. See, I nearly missed that. If I'd scanned that, I would have seen that. There's a Grendel. We just picked up a Grendel. We don't have one of those. So let's just have a quick look at that. We'll add it to the list of weapons we're going to have equipped. Now, one thing I think I should point out at this point is just be careful when you've got weapons that have the same ammo. You try and get into the habit of having the best in class with the same ammo. You don't want to be sharing ammo. So what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to replace that EON with the Grendel, like that. And now we're not sharing ammo between both of those. Having different guns with different ammo types is absolutely a must. You should get used to having different weapons with different ammo, just to make sure that if you run out on one, you don't get caught. Okay, so here's our first digipick lock. And luckily you might have spotted they've left the digipick for you. Now my rule with this is I will try and use the biggest ones to the smallest ones. What I mean by that is I use the ones that have 3 first, and then 2, and just depending on what the lock looks like. And there we go. We solved it. Now we've got blue weapon. Again, 6.5mm, which is the same as the Maelstrom. So you're going to share ammo if you equip that, so just be aware of it. Keys and red eye, and you see how those had the little magnifying glass on them? That is because we marked them in the research station, and they're related to some research projects. So that's why that magnifying glass was there. There's people up there. We're not going to worry about them too much. As long as we don't fire on them, they're just going to leave us alone. So, another thing your scanner is useful for is identifying where enemies are. You see that? And Vasco's blocking me here. Okay, so that's the Grendel. A little bit of a faster fire rate on it. Again, use your scanner to see if there's any bad guys in here. They're above us, look, see? I wouldn't have been able to see that. Can't scan them. You can see on the map now there's a number of little red arrows, which tells you the area is not free at this point. Credits. I nearly missed that guy, and as soon as I put my scanner on, I seen he was there. Another guy there. With some nice stuff that we need. There's one more bad guy here somewhere. The boost jump, get used to using the boost jump, it'll get you out of trouble. He's just so a lot. Let's digipick this. Now, one of the reasons it's important to digipick things early is the fact that you're actually working on your skills straight away. So with the skill tree, and we'll show you the skill tree in a while, but it requires you to do certain things. And so if you can get out in front of that. So for instance, the lockpick requires me to pick so many locks. So if I've already started picking locks before I get to New Atlantis, I'm way ahead. Okay, there's another one. Now, as it is typical with a Bethesda game, yeah, the rewards in the safes and stuff are not always great, but you know that's Bethesda. Bethesda, I think, will enjoy doing that to people and saying, "Oh, they will have a real laugh." They'll think they're going to get some real good stuff out of your lockpicking. See, already their security. I've already done 3 of 5, so I'm already leveling up my skill before I can even look at the skill tree here. And that's because I picked that in my character setup. So it's very important to kind of pay attention to what skills you choose and what activities you're doing around your skills early in the game. Okay. Oh, another digipick opportunity. Again, there's a lot. If there's a 3, I like to use the 3 first. I just find that it's, I don't know, for whatever reason, it works for me. But with the harder ones, as you get into the lock picking, you're going to have harder ones. Just look at the rings in front of you and take your time before you do anything. So there we go, 4 or 5 lock picks. And by the time we get to the skill tree, we'll probably be able to rank up lock picking straight away. So pay attention to these things here. Look at that. There is actually a legendary item in that. So those, let me show you what it looks like. Make sure if you see one of these will have all kinds of nice stuff. So already got an upgrade for our helmet. So very important that you pick up anything that's in there. Let's have a good look. Vasco, you're standing in the way, sir. Vasco, you're standing in the way, sir. So, that was a space helmet, wasn't it? So what does it give us? Look at this, it gives us a whole lot of buffs. Chameleon, Analyzer, and Repulsing. And so you can see there, if you're scanning targets, it gives it a buff of 10% damage. You can take the high ground here. Make sure the scan. Oof. Put that skill right into play straight away. Where's this guy?
You should avoid. I do not feel pain.
better heal. Use that. Where's the last guy? So one of the other tips I have for you is if you're shooting, just don't go on full auto, just burst fire the gun. It'll keep the, especially if they're at a longer range, it'll keep the recoil under control. If I can find the spot to hit this guy, I reckon the barrier's in the way. So just be aware that you will get, it will pick up objects in front of you sometimes. If that happens to you, just do what I did and move. See, I'm burst firing this gun. There you go, he's dead. We've got everybody. Now the reason I didn't jump down is I want to have a good look around here. And again, this is what the scanner's useful for, because as soon as I highlight the ship, I can actually fast travel back to it. If I'm encumbering, I can't, but in this instance I can. So the scanner that has just so many functions that they don't tell you about in the game. Completely OP tool, and get used to using it, because you'll benefit you not only early in the game but the whole game. Now pay attention to some containers lying around the place, because you can see it right here, look.
I do not understand your attachment to all these objects.
I just got helium because I took my time and looked around. There you go. Okay, so we're going to do what we normally have to do when we come back into the ship before we take off, and that is to dump everything. Dump all the resources. Okay. That's about all I want to dump at this point. Now we're going to take off. In fact, we're not going to take off. We're going to use the star mark. Like this. I'm going to back out. I'll use the B button to back out, whatever it is on your system. Highlight where you want to go. Set a course. Set a course. Jump. I just by doing that have missed a whole lot of animations. Now we have to get scanned. So before we finish, we're going to finish here for today, but before we do, a couple of things to show you before we do, and we'll pick it up in the next episode. Come into your inventory, come into your space suit, and you can see down the bottom it says hide space suit in the settlements. Make sure that that actually says show, because now it will hide that once you get in the settlement, and then just pick an outfit that you want to be wearing. Geez, we got a lot of weird outfits that we picked up without knowing that we picked them up. Oh my goodness. We'll go with that one for now. Okay guys, that will do it for the first episode. In the next episode we are going to go and explore New Atlantis, and there's a whole lot of stuff that we're going to do that's going to get us updated. I just want to point out that we're at level 2 at the moment, and we've got 8,600 credits, and we haven't sold anything yet. So we're going to sell in the next episode. The first thing that we're going to do, we're going to sell all that stuff that we've picked up, and we'll see what our credit looks at. And then we are going to we're going to upgrade the ship. We're going to get a whole lot of credits. We're going to get a whole lot of ammunition, etc. And we'll be good to go with the next mission. Thanks for watching. If you did find this useful, leave a like rating. Any tips that I've missed that you've picked up, leave down in the comments, and we'll catch you next time on Gaming for XP. We'll see ya.